Alright, BobalosRex here, and we are reacting to the War Within Deep Dive panel, Blizzcon 2023. Let's go.
BlizzCon, we're starting the day off right. Here's the World of Warcraft Deep Dive.
Oh, let's turn these captions on. They're great. They're like the best. Applause.
Good afternoon, BlizzCon!
Here, let me just move over here, maybe?
So good to be back. Whether you are here in the arena with me right in front of me, whether you're watching from elsewhere in the hall,
It's Ian, it's him.
Joining us from the comfort of your home. Thank you for taking the time to join me for this deeper, closer look
I'm pro Ian.
at what's coming next,
So,
the War Within.
I'm excited. Let's get it.
I love you too!
Delves, Warband, Hero Talents, Earthen. Let's go!
So Morgan and Maria gave you kind of a sneak peek at some of what's coming. Today I want to spend a bit more time giving you more information on the core features of War Within, as well as a few things that didn't get mentioned at all yesterday. So,
yes.
Beginning,
Delves.
little teaser there. So to begin, let's talk delves.
Dwarf elves.
So what is a delve? As you heard yesterday, delves are these quick, bite-sized, epic adventures.
See, these are solo.
Either solo or with up to 5 players. They are role agnostic, so it doesn't matter if you're a couple DPS, if you're a healer and a tank, if you're a solo healer. We're going to make it work. We're going to meet you where you are, how you want to play.
These captions.
Delves are a new endgame pillar. This is a permanent addition to World of Warcraft going forward and represents kind of a capstone to the outdoor world experience.
This is
We've
amazing.
had dungeons, we've had raids, we've had organized PvP.
I'm gonna be running these on alts.
We've had some stuff for outdoor world players to dabble in. But if you wanted progression, if you wanted goals, if you wanted a deeper, more structured experience, frankly, we were letting you down. We want to change that. That's what delves represent in World of Warcraft.
Oh my god, you got on one of my most iconic sets.
You are going to be engaging in all season long with
Look at that. Yo, no, I'm going, let's go back to that. Is that one of my most iconic sets? The Onslaught Warrior set? What?
So structuring this, really we want to approach it as something that you are going to be engaging in all season long with variety and flexibility in how you approach it, and the replayability of the content is kind of a mainstay of what it's all about. But also want to build in progression. And I think if you're an outdoor world focused player, a lot of the time it's just about kind of spending your time doing a thing, going to a place, completing an event, but there aren't necessarily goals to work towards. There aren't necessarily reasons to be excited about getting an item upgrade because it's going to let you do something you haven't been able to do before. A difficulty progression built into delves is going to enable us
dream surges to do, time rifts. Now these are actual things.
There's a lot of lessons we've learned over the years from building this type of content, whether it was Torghast in Shadowlands, Island Expeditions, scenarios, you can throw in horrific visions in that list. We've learned a lot about how to tune these sorts of experiences, how to design them for flexible scaling groups of different sizes, of different role compositions, about what's fun and what isn't. But we've also learned, based on your feedback, about what not to do in some cases, in terms of how we structure it, how we present it. I think a key aspect of saying this is an endgame pillar is that it's an offering in parallel to the others, to dungeons, to raids. If you want to do this, if this is your jam, if this is your type of gameplay,
alright, I'm a solo player.
We're there for you, and we want this to be as deep as you want it to be.
Boom.
If you're happy running Mythic Plus and you just want to focus on that, we're not looking to add another item to the checklist of things you feel you have to do to compete. It's an alternative. Unlike Torghast, which is something that we did kind of say, everyone has to do this, whether you like it or not, whether you'd rather do something else or not.
They learned that
Back
lesson.
to some of the philosophies that Morgan touched on yesterday and how we're approaching designing and evolving World of Warcraft. We want to meet you where you are. We want to respect your time. We want to offer you the ability to choose how you want to spend that time.
They drop in the buzzwords.
Each night in Azeroth.
Oh my god, there's Preach!
The character of delves and what a specific one will be like. The vibe here is about unraveling mysteries. It's about exploring. It's about feeling like an extension, a seamless extension of the outdoor world experience. These are not dungeons. every dungeon is ultimately about killing a series of bosses or
Dude, it's
boss-like
like the
encounters,
digs.
and the dungeon is over when you kill the final baddest
Looks
boss
like
at
the
the end of the
scenario.
dungeon. And that's kind of the structure that they all have to conform to. As much as we like,
Oh, their
as much as we
scenarios,
try to
pretty
vary
much.
the formula a bit, that's pretty much what they're going to be. In the outdoor world, things are a bit different. We can, break some more of the rules. And really, at the end of the day, the one consistent thing about delves is that they're all going to end with a room full of treasure. Some of those will have a final boss guardian in front of them. Others, you may be, just exploring, traversing the delve, flipping switches, solving a puzzle, defeating lieutenants, gathering things that you need to open the vault door.
Puzzle boss.
We can vary the gameplay, we can vary the feel of the experience. These are going to be instanced experiences, but they are seamless. When you walk up to, this, as I'll show in a second, a fog door at the entrance to a cave, at the entrance to a structure, you're just going to walk in, no loading screen, and now you're
a fog door.
You want to make sure this really feels like part of and an extension of the outdoor world.
That's for the boss ones.
Now, as part of an in-game pillar, that means we're going to tie this into seasons. So, as well as a narrative progression over the course of the season, there will be increasing rewards, increasing difficulty, and a change of pace.
Delve Master, Delve Hero.
Season 2, and so
Let's
forth.
go.
Part of that is going to be the NPC companion that will be accompanying you on your adventures. The Season 1 companion, as we mentioned yesterday, is our good friend,
Season 1 buddy.
Now, what does this mean? What does a companion mean in practice? Well, it's a few things. One, it's definitely a narrative hook. Gives
I'm
a
excited
chance to
for
help
this.
Give context for your adventures, kind of narrate what you're going through.
If this gets you tier,
but also,
I'm doing it on every class.
Kind of play with
I got 3 days to level them.
Complement your playstyle. As Bran ventures with you, you might find some gear for Bran. You might be able to gear Bran up. You'll be able to spec him and customize his abilities to complement what you or your friends are bringing to the group. Whether you want more survivability, whether you want help with someone's a tank, whether you want more control, this can help us balance the experience as well and give you another vector for your progression.
He better double my battle price.
Now, I know this has kind of been very high level. I want to just give a couple of specific examples, just kind of a day
That's all I
in
gotta
the life
say.
of someone jumping into delves in War Within. So let's say you are casually journeying across the Isle of Dorne and its pastoral beauty.
Dude, they literally have fog gates.
Structure with that fog door set into it. You decide to venture in. So as you venture in, you are, as I mentioned, seamlessly in the delve.
Dude,
and you will find
literally every Souls player or Elden Ring player sees fog gate. Oh, let's go!
And just huddled inside the
Instinctually.
entrance, a group of expedition scouts who have come to this place. They've heard reports of great secrets, great treasures, powerful relics stored within, but they've been unable to proceed further. Because, they tell you, and Bran is among them, mind you, they tell you, this place, there's an unnatural, there's a disturbing darkness that has settled over this entire vault, and we can't proceed. Fortunately, they have in their possession
I'm gonna beat that boss.
a relic
Let's go.
that they have brought that is an enchanted candle that can light the way. It has a little light radius around it.
This is our
think
very
back
first
to
one.
The Vault of the Warden's dungeon, if you remember that in Legion, what the basement was like, where it really felt like just like a dark, scary place, but you could have this beacon in the darkness to guide your way.
You turn on the
You have
lantern,
one of
then the
those.
skeleton monster.
But, I tell you, it has very limited fuel. They dare not proceed on their own because they worry they're just going to get trapped in the darkness and destroyed by the terrors within. But you, of course, being the champion who's come along, you're up to the task. So you take that candle with its light radius that will begin to shrink progressively as your limited fuel burns, and you take some steps into the delve. Now, who do you find in here? Well, as it happens, you run across fellows like this guy. More jacked than your average kobold.
That is a buff kobold.
There's a lot of kobolds in here. And as you know, as any World of Warcraft player knows, where you find kobolds, you're going to find candles. And this guy's
They don't want you to take them.
But it being World of Warcraft and all, you're going to take his candle.
Yeah.
And you're going to take the candles.
Good.
And, that will help fuel
Give me
this
your
magic
candle.
light that you have, help keep the light burning so that you can traverse the entire delve, defeat a couple of lieutenant-type enemies, bosses, solve a puzzle or two, and at the end, You make your way into the vault room that Brad is able to open once you
And they're
get
gonna
in
mix
there,
it up.
and you find this mock-up work in progress of a treasure room, heaping with riches.
It's always gonna be kobolds, right?
Treasure chests of various shapes and sizes. Some of the smaller ones, you can just walk up and open, collect a range of items, currency, rewards,
It's gonna
you
have
name
treasure
it.
trove stuff.
But you'll find a couple of extra large, resplendent chests in this room. Those may require special keys to open. Now,
Yes.
those keys you would obtain from doing kind of outdoor content, weekly quests. They're a bit more limited in how you can get them, but also allow us to offer and pace out the best rewards. They're on par with some other endgame content, so make sure it's not, infinitely grindable or anything like that, but it's an extension of your outdoor world loop if this is your playstyle. Now, let's say you come back to the same delve on another day. You might find that there isn't a magical darkness settled over the place. Instead, there are earthen locked in battle with kobolds, and you can help turn the tide of that fight as you work your way through, dealing with some different challenges along the way. Variety, replayability, lots of layers to the experience.
Yes.
Now, so you venture back out into the zone, heading off to a different corner of it, and you come across this cave surrounded by mushrooms. It's known in legends as Fungal Folly. Now,
Fungal
not
Folly.
the wisest adventurer, that sounds like a great place to enter, so you take a few steps forward.
Sounds great.
In here, you might find an environment where, whether it's due to unusual ores or whatever in the walls, the rules of gravity are a bit topsy-turvy. And you'll find mushrooms scattered around the cave that you can use as basically jump pads to help navigate the environment, to skip over enemies you want to avoid, to reach ledges that you couldn't otherwise get to. You're starting to get the idea, like,
give me
more
WoW
the world
platform.
as toy vibe that we tried to play with when we're creating outdoor
Yes,
events,
the
outdoor
Mushroom
spaces.
Kingdom.
These are not mechanics you'd necessarily find in a dungeon, but I think the team really is
Let's
unshackled,
go.
is freed to explore a much wider array of
Be
gameplay
unshackled.
when we're building delves.
See that
So let's talk a bit more about
caption?
the loot. So actually, before we talk about the loot,
Delves.
these are the 12 delves that
Ooh.
we currently have planned.
There's gonna be a bunch of these slides I want
scattered
to pause
throughout the
on.
4 zones, each themed around the ecologies, each themed.
Earth Crawl Mines, Creval's Rest, Fungal Folly, Ringing Depths, that's the second zone. The Waterworks, the Dread Pit. Alright, Hollow Fall, Skittering Beach, Nightfall Sanctum, the Sinkhole, Mycomancer Cavern, it's another mushroom one. Then Ashkahat, the Spiraling Weave, Rathon Abyss, Deep Walker Hold.
around the settings that you're going to find. Now, some of the attentive among you may be saying, wait a minute, Morgan's slide said there were 13 delves yesterday. He might be right, but there also might be a secret delve that you have to explore a bit more to discover that awaits you.
Oh.
So yeah, loot.
Secret
Being a
delves.
seasonal pillar means
Delves within
going to
delves.
the Great Vault every week and getting to share in that disappointment
There it is.
that you're raiding and dungeon
There,
playing.
guys! They deleted PvP! I saw this earlier. They deleted PvP. PvP's gone, guys. They did it. Look at it. PvP's dead. I've been saying it. They either got to revamp it completely or just kill it because it's dead. It's dead. Here it is. But now let's continue.
Brethren have also had the pleasure to enjoy. We just want to make sure you don't feel left out. So you're welcome. So you'll note this isn't a Delves row. This is a World row, and really that is enshrining these 3 PvE
World
pillars, raids,
activities.
dungeons, world. You'll be able to unlock some of these slots doing select outdoor world activities, as well as, of course, delves with better
Feasts
rewards
included.
from higher difficulty delves. Our thinking in terms of the rewards here, this is all subject to tuning, is that this should reach to, let's say, end boss heroic raid, mythic 10 to 15 type range, accessible just via solo progression. Far better loot than you've ever been able to get before.
And then with upgrades, you can push that higher.
And now, I'm sure this is, I know this is the delve section, but I'm sure there's folks looking at this and being like, wait a minute, what about the PvP row?
It's gone.
Don't worry, we got you. We are removing the PvP row from the vault. We're doing that based largely on feedback that we've heard that randomness and PvP gearing maybe are not the best combination. I know it took a few years to get that message through to us. So the way this is going to work is instead, you're going to get a whole lot more conquest. You're going to gear up at the same rate overall, but you will have complete control over your gearing path, just spending your conquest on the items that you want. With easier catch-up, if you come in late in the season, you don't have to worry about having missed certain vault weeks. Also, if you're someone who PvPs a lot and you raid, you don't have the awkward choice of that raid trinket versus the PvP item that's going to help your arena partners. So,
you go. Look, the people that PvP seem excited. Possibly.
Hopefully, just good news.
I think that was Sloot.
Now, aside from just
trying
power,
to
also you get
call
silly
out
hats.
people I see.
Nothing more to say here.
We get Candle. We can be a mushroom. Look at that. We can be a mushroom head.
These are just a few examples of the array of cosmetic rewards that will be exclusive to delves, reflecting
He's got his eye
technologies and environments you're going to be facing.
He's got his eyes shut. He's like, what do I got on my head?
So, silly hats, World of Warcraft. Less silly, just as, let's say, Mythic Plus players have amounts that they can earn over the course of a given season.
Let's fucking
this customizable flying mount will be exclusively available through thorough completion of the Delve experience. You'll note the customizability of it. This will be customizable the same way you can customize your current dragon riding drakes at the
Delve
rostrum.
Hero.
Just modularly.
Let's go, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I love our artists.
I'm excited about that mount. Ooh, here we go.
Warbands.
Here we go. I want to hear this explained more.
Save 10 minutes this panel by just saying account-wide everything and just click through the next slides. But
account-wide everything. They're doing it.
So, I don't know if you guys know this, but turns out y'all play a lot of alts.
Yeah, most people.
I'm sure that actually the number of characters per person in this room in particular is like some insane average. But the average WoW player today plays multiple characters. The two-thirds of players who have a level 70 have multiple level 70s. Half of players have 3 or more. Most people are playing multiple characters a week.
Yeah, there are still solo players though.
It's no secret, has always done the best job of supporting. Now, part of that is because World of Warcraft 20 years ago was built with very different assumptions. And I both mean design-wise, but actually engineering-wise as well. The infrastructure and the architecture that was built. Back then, it took hundreds of hours to level a single character, of course, and playing alt seriously was far, far from the norm. But we've kind of inherited, we have been working with those foundations to this day. And so when we get requests for them, when we talk about alt friendliness, we try to do it, but we're often we're swimming upstream, given the underpinnings of a system that were never designed for this. And that's why
Dragonflight is insanely alt-friendly.
Solutions like, well, if you want to transfer this currency to your alt, go to a vendor and spend some to buy a different box that contains account-bound currency that you can then mail to yourself, log out, log back in, take the box out of your mailbox, and open it on your alt. Congratulations, you have moved 300 supplies. Elegant design, ladies and gentlemen. What if we didn't have to do that? So at its core,
that's awesome that they're trying to fix that.
What if we just rebuilt those foundations and created a new future, both for the things we want to offer today and the things we'll be able to in the future, so we're not fighting against the nature of the system, but instead it complements what we want to do.
Yeah, here's the thing. He's being very fair here. I'm going to be fair to them. They've been extremely alt-friendly, but what he's saying here is to do alt-friendliness in the system, they have to do all this roundabout stuff. And they're trying to go into and now fix that using the warbands system, whatever it is. I'm excited. Let's see more. But that I appreciate that. That's why I wanted to pause on that, because that's good to know.
Barriers, removing awkwardness in playing alts. We don't want to actively necessarily encourage it. People already want to do it if they do it. One thing the system is not going to be is something that awards you power or makes your main more effective because you have done things on other characters.
That's what I was hoping they
or
wouldn't
anything
do.
along those lines. If you want to play alts, do so. If you just love focusing on a single character,
Because I will power creep on alts if there's power behind it, and that's what I've worried about in account-wide systems. But I'm glad they're laying it out that they're not gonna like make you have to play alts, because I don't want that for solo players.
that shouldn't feel wrong either. Now let's talk about some examples. Okay, so I'm going to run through these pretty quickly. They're mostly fairly straightforward. It's a bank. It's an account-wide bank.
Or stash tab.
Hopefully, you should never again have to mail something to yourself. You also might notice, and so this is giant, lots of storage, extra tabs that can be purchased on the right-hand side, so multiple tabs of these. You can organize them as you want. The very observant, the eagle-eyed, will notice a little checkbox mentioning reagents. If you deposit reagents here, you can craft from the account-wide storage on any of your characters.
That's cool. That's super cool.
Next up, maybe a little new thing. Something that you might put in this account-wide storage are the ability we will now have to create war-bound items that are war-bound until equipped. You might get an item that you can't sell in the auction house or trade, but that you can give to any of your other characters for their use.
What's the difference between this and account bound, though?
Now, these items would drop as bonus personal loot from doing a variety of content. They would drop at a slightly lower item level than what that content would normally give you. Again, we want to make sure the right way to play is not, playing on multiple characters to funnel loot to your main to gear up your main faster, but just easy potential hand-me-downs, ways of getting an alt caught up, maybe even an excuse to level an alt if you get a really cool item for a class that you haven't had a chance to get up yet. So just an extra layer here, cool. Hopefully, making it easier than ever to progress, to accomplish your goals on multiple characters.
Easy or catch up.
Quick rundown of some of the other integrations we have planned. Transmog. Transmog has always been, it's been for a long time an account-wide collection. Key thing here now that really it is being acquired by your warband. That means that now if you were running, say, Ulduar on your mage and a pair of plate shoulders drop, you can still add those plate shoulders to your warband collection.
That's good.
Yeah, self-explanatory.
That's great.
And then, if you log on your warrior later, your warrior can equip them, you're good to go. Hopefully you don't need to feel like you need to refarm the same stuff on as many different armor types anymore.
So you do have to transfer it still.
In War Within, reputations and renowns will work account-wide. We want to make this as retroactive as possible. That will take some work over time.
We need a bank now.
Start with Dragonflight renowns as a focus and a priority, and work our way backwards. But going forward, we want progress earned on reputations to not really matter which character you're doing it on. At the end of the day, it's the same content, it's the same experience. If you've gained access to some perk or some recipe, having to re-earn it, not terribly compelling.
All right.
Here's a really light example, simple one, just flight paths. As you explore the world, you learn flight paths, you discover flight paths. Is it terribly compelling to have to go back to a spot you've already been to in multiple characters just to learn a flight path for the 4th time? No. If you have a flight path network unlocked, you have that unlocked across your warband going forward.
Nice. I guess we don't need the scouting maps?
And here's an example of something new, just delves.
Oh, well, it's different map.
Having this as a foundation means that we can build new systems to inherently work at an account-wide level, just kind of as part of their DNA. As you are advancing Bran as a companion, as you are empowering him as you're customizing him, again, logged onto a different character and going back to having a weaker Bran that doesn't offer the tools that you've
buff Bran.
That's more frustrating.
Carries
than
over.
To relearn those things. Let's make that progression
Dude, I'm gonna make him buff.
Inherently account-wide.
Dude, they're just doing it now.
And achievements. We've had account-wide achievements for a long time. No secret, they have the little blue bar over them, indicating that they function at an account-wide level. What Warbands allows us to do is kind of invert that paradigm and change the vast majority of our achievements to be account-wide, to have that actually be the new default. So if you do part of this PvP or crafting or other achievement on one character, part of it on another, Your warband can earn the achievement. Once your warband earns it,
Yes.
again, you the player are doing the thing.
Yo, that's gonna help so much. That's gonna incentive. Oh my god.
And then this.
This is the picture.
To kind of signal this.
This is the picture that started so much drama. People are like, yo, look at that level 13 Drakthir. They're in leather. And here's the thing. It says Evoker. And that may be the leather set. People may have looked it up. But they literally just put armor on tunes. They can do it. The tune could just be wearing leather. So, what are these Nate Grasshead Fargos? Dude, this is cool though. This legit looks amazing.
Here, but just in terms of presentation,
Camp.
What you'll see when you log into World of Warcraft with multiple characters is a selection of your favorite characters huddled around a campfire or another setting.
So your favorites are on the camp.
But we want to make it clear that, like, you, the player, have this cast of characters that if you want to dress them all up in consistent transmogs, go wild.
That's so cool.
One thing you might note here, if you're very eagle-eyed, also, by the way, if you're very eagle-eyed, don't read too much into things like the evoker wearing leather. That's just, it's internal mock-ups. We're not changing anything crazy there.
Yeah.
Sorry. But you will note that the evoker is level 13. That's going to be a thing that's possible because they'll start at level 10. But
Evoker nerf.
Boom. The new leveling expansion, by the way, going forward. One thing to notice is there isn't really much here about realm selection. Warbands are a realm-agnostic, faction-agnostic feature. You will just see all your characters here. If they're on different servers, we'll make it clear that they're on different servers. But you shouldn't have to like go to the change realm screen and swap around. They're just all here.
Yo! There it is.
Okay. Hero talents.
All 50 characters.
So,
60.
At their core, this is a chance for us, as we continue to evolve and advance our class system, to explore some deeper class fantasies, to look at iconic archetypes like the Farseer or the Dark Ranger or the Mountain King.
Oh my god, let's go.
In the Warcraft universe.
Let's go.
Other times by fantasies that we've heard are really resonant with players, and focus the continued expansion of our classes in that space. Now, Morgan said this yesterday, just to restate, this is a completely flexible system. It's as flexible as your current talents and specs. Nothing like Covenants or anything like that. Anytime you could change your talents today, you can change your hero spec, you can swap around your hero talents.
Listen, with Covenants, they try to make this permanent subclasses. How Covenants went down, they're like, nope, nope, nope. Make them like normal talents.
Some of our goals here, of course, we want to offer progression, but we want to do so, frankly, while managing complexity to a certain extent. When we started planning for War Within, we knew, all right, we're going to raise the level cap by 10. 10 new levels means 10 new talent points. The kind of default option for us would have been to take the existing class and spec trees and just add a couple more rows to each of them, add new points to spend.
Yeah.
But we've been down that path before. We know exactly where that leads 15 years ago. There's a tremendous amount, there's an insane amount of like multiplicative combinatoric complexity from adding those additional options. And it also destroys some carefully constructed choices that are really successful that we've just built up in Dragonflight today, where you can't quite have all of these things and need to pick one or the other. Suddenly when you can get all of them, it can lead towards homogeneity as well. So this approach allows us to both explore deeper class fantasy while focusing the decision space in a way that offers power without that excessive complexity. So the way it's generally going to look is a third talent tree. Again, as mentioned yesterday, at the center of your screen, you have class, you have talent, and in the middle, you have hero talents. You'll note, so there are 10 nodes. There's an initial node that you get as a starter node at the top.
Yep, the starter node, and then you get all 10. Okay.
And then 10 more nodes to unlock. You will get all of them on the way to 80. At level 80, you will have this fully unlocked, similar to Legion artifacts, let's say. So you don't have to agonize over where you're placing any choice along the way. Now, The choices that you will make are which hero spec do you want active, and also there will be choice nodes within the trees, just as the class trees and the spec trees currently have.
That's why I was calling it like mob talents in the middle with the class skin. But we already got mob talents in the talent trees. So honestly, it just gives us a couple more and then 10 more talents that they get to pick.
Which you can toggle.
But they're linked under a big choice from us. That's cool. This is really cool to me.
As a kind of simpler collapsed view, once you've hit max level, you can just condense it down to only show the choice nodes for easy swapping back and forth.
Okay, that's what I was
customize your
looking
spec
at.
for whatever activity you're setting out to do. Now, I want to take a little bit of time to quickly walk through a couple of trees to give a sense of the sorts of things you might find in here. All of this is
That's awesome that they thought of that
all
beforehand.
subject to iteration and the extensive feedback we know we're going to get. I'm going to use druids a lot as an example here.
Oh, I want to
So in
read
the
these.
case of a balanced
Take inspiration from the mighty keepers of the grove to protect the balance and safeguard the dream. Channel overwhelming nature power into your spells and summon enhanced trees to protect your allies and crush your enemies. So this is balance and resto. Elun's chosen. Dedicate yourself to the moon goddess, increasing your control over the moon and stars. Infuse your ability with astromite and call down potent lunar magic from the sky. This... Do you think they just have these two for the two druid specs? Like the healer and boomkin? And then for feral and druid they have another two? Or do you think this goes over bear?
druid. Part of why the team
That would be the question.
Part of why the team starts with druids is because y'all are complicated. We figure there's 4 specs, 3 roles. We figure let's try some of the hardest cases first when proving out a design. It's nothing against mages, warlocks, paladins, etc. But there's a reason why you probably tend to see more druid examples than other classes, because we figure if we can make it work for druids, the rest will be okay. The 2 options available to a balanced druid are this Keeper of the Grove tree and Elun's Chosen. Keeper of the Grove is available to balance and restoration.
Okay, I was
Chosen
right.
is available to balance and guardian. The former focuses on calling the forest to your aid, on summoning
I know.
treants, and augmenting.
I know,
abilities
Ian.
and what
Thank you for confirming I was right.
Gameplay. Elun's Chosen focuses on augmenting your lunar abilities, many of the arcane damage, moon-themed abilities for both specs. Let's look at the Keeper of the Grove tree first. The first node that you're going to get as you just opt in.
Okay, so talents work in Mage Tower. These are another nerf to Mage Tower. It's gonna be, hey, more abilities in Mage Tower give you more power to deal with the bullshit it has. And that's great.
A baseline improvement to your throughput.
I've already got my book, though. I got it first time around.
Across the board. This just kind of emphasizes thematically what this tree is about and makes pushing that button, having a tree
Oh, wait.
more important to you in every regard. Some of the nodes.
Alright,
in
that's
trees
just a
are
solid
gonna be
one.
Simple, straightforward passives. Not everything is going to double and triple down on the same
Yo.
treant abilities.
Treants of the Moon, man. Your little treants. Pew, 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 pew. That's awesome. Expansive.
Some will, like this, regardless of what spec you are, make your treants add additional damage. Oh, by the way, if anyone's worried, wait a minute, but what about the auto taunt? That's a mess in dungeons. We'll let you opt out of that. Don't worry. Or, passives could just augment your abilities, your resource pool, and just make you a better druid. An example of a choice node, again, this can be about doubling down on
Treants
and
generate.
getting more out of having
Oh
your
my
treants
God.
active. Or maybe you really don't want all of your eggs in that basket. Even though you are going into this tree, you want the treants to be important to
Tree
you.
build.
You don't want 100% of your throughput to be focused in that window. You'd rather just have some baseline improvements to all of your abilities, or to some of your core abilities. This is one of the simpler choices available, but the idea is 4 different opportunities to nudge your gameplay in one direction or another within this tree. A capstone talent, again, is often
Ooh.
likely to double down on and amplify what the initial point was, just reinforcing that having the treants out is going to be a peak, a spike.
Oh, that's
Your
cool.
potential, something that you're going to plan around, and just amplify the overall benefits that you're achieving from that. Pivoting to Elun's Chosen, again, this is
Dude,
themed
I
and
can't wait to look at all these. Oh my
So
god,
the
my head is
first point
spinning.
here is going to call out three
Oh my
specific
god, I love
signature
new
abilities
talents.
to balance
Listen
one
up.
guardian.
Every WoW expansion I love. Like, for the longest time with the Pandaria talent system, you'd only get a few. But back in the day, I would get the game book maybe ahead of time, or I'd have it at school, and I'd just be looking at class abilities. Like, yo, we gonna get this? Yo, they get this? Oh my god! I'm excited for this.
And make them, meaningfully more impactful to your gameplay.
And say you have characters, now it pays to have multiple boomkins. Maybe you want your Treant boomkin, or you want your Alone Chosen boomkin. I mean, some people will just play the best, and that's fine. But some people want options and want to make characters be different
For your Guardian
things.
Druid, for example, you might read this and realize that, like Lunar Beam is going to become a pretty powerful defensive cooldown, especially in dungeons. You have a big pull going on.
Snap. Look at that
A lot of
leech.
damage back from what you're doing. This is now something that you can really count on and plan around as you approach your gameplay.
Dude.
On the Moonkid side, this of course
Guardian
adds
gonna be
an extra layer
blasting.
to planning and throughput in your rotation. Noting a couple of these things that we're modifying, maybe deeper optional talents in your existing spec trees. We also, where we can, want to offer ways to make sure that you can trigger those effects even if you don't have the baseline talent, though you'll probably want to as well. So this talent just has Fury of Elune triggered as you're doing your regular rotation when you Moonfire, both just naturally, it's a powerful effect that's going to fire more frequently, but also to the extent that the rest of the Elune's chosen tree is tying into it, you'll get those benefits as well.
All right.
A couple of more passive examples here. Again, just doubling down on magnifying your
Increased
arcane
damage,
throughput, and
more
a final
damage.
capstone ability for this tree that is further reinforcing these core abilities that have already been augmented.
Oh my god, more
Stay up for a
moons!
while.
Oh, here we go. Here we
These
go.
are our current plans for all 39 of...
Okay. Alright. Alright. I'm gonna lay it out right now. Here we go. So, Keeper of the Grove, Elune's Chosen. Keeper of the Grove, Resto, Boomkin. Elune's Chosen, Boomkin, Bear. Wild Stalker and Druid of Claw are feral. Okay? One of these goes with Resto and one of these goes with Guardian. I'm going to go Druid of the Claw with Guardian. So Guardian has Elune's Chosen and Druid of the Claw. Resto has Keeper of the Grove, Wild Stalker. Oh, yeah. That's my guess there. Alright. Oh my god, this is easy. Sun Fury and Frostfire for fire. Sun Fury and Spellslinger for arcane. Frostfire and Spellslinger for frost. Easy. Easy. Alright. Void Weaver and Oracle for shadow. Oracle and Archon for holy. So it'd be Void Weaver Archon for dis? Yeah. Void Weaver Archon for disc. Wait. Yeah. These two have to be for holy. Do you think that's it? And then that's disc? So it's either Void Weaver or Oracle. Yeah. Because the many truths. Okay. That's my guess for that. So these two for shadow, these two for holy, and then these two for disc. Alright. Now for warrior, I feel like we already saw Colossal and Mountain Thane for Prot. So then Colossal Slayer for Fury. and Slayer Mountain Thane for arms. Alright. Soul Harvester, Hellcaller is destruction. Hellcaller Diabolist is demo. Soulcaller Diabolist is affliction. Alright. I'm gonna mark this. I'm gonna mark this in the video so we all know my guesses. Totemic is Resto Enhancement. This is Resto Enhancement. Stormbringer, Farseer for... Okay, so this is Elemental. This is Enhancement. Stormbringer, Totemic. Farseer, Totemic is Resto. That's my guess. Trickster, Fatebound is Outlaw. Deathstalker, Fatebound is Subtlety. Deathstalker, Trickster is Assassination. Alright. No. Subtlety. This is Subtlety. This is Outlaw. And then this is Assassin. So I switched it. Alright, for Monk. Conduit of the Celestials is... We'll come back to Monk. Evoker I got down. Ruby's... This is Devastation. This, Chrono Warden and Scale Commander, is Ogvoker. And then this is Preservation. Easy. Bronze, Red, Preservations. Red, Black, Devastation. Black, Bronze for Og. That was an easy pick there. So then we got Blood, we got Frost, and we got Unholy. So Unholy gets these two. Blood gets these two. And then Frost gets these two. Alright. Riders of the Apocalypse and Deathbringers Frost. Sandlane, Deathbringers Blood. And then Riders of the Apocalypse and Sandlane is Unholy. That's my guess. Vengeance, Havoc. I mean, that's easy. So, Pack Leader is Beastmaster. Dark Ranger is Marksman. And Sentinel. No. Ooh. Okay. Beastmaster. No. We'll come back to these two. Let's go over to Paladin real quick. Herald of the Sun and Templar. Okay, so this is Prot. For sure. Lightsmith is Prot base. Herald of the Sun. Okay. I want to feel like this is Prot. This is Ret. And then this is Holy. No, now I'm feeling like this is Holy. Okay, so Holy, Prot, Ret. Yes. I still feel like this is... Yeah. Okay. Is this ret? Okay, let's go. Lightsmith Templar is ret. This is prot, and then this is holy. Yeah, we'll go with the last one. Then, okay, so pick Conduit of the Celestials is Brewmaster. And, Mistweaver. So Mistweaver is Master of Harmony, Conduit of the Celestials. Brewmaster is Shadowpan, Conduit of the Celestials. No. Now that I see that, hold on. Master of Harmony and Conduit of the Celestials is Mistweaver, for sure. Shadowpan and Conduit of the Celestials is Windwalker. And Shadowpan, Master of Harmony is Brew. So Brew, Windwalker, Mistweaver. Marksmanship is Sentinel, Dark Ranger. For a fact. Marksman is these two. So, this is Beastmaster. And then this is Survival. So we get a Spear Dark Ranger. I don't know how I feel. Like I feel like I'm biased because I've seen other ones, but let's get back to the video now.
One per current
There are my guesses.
Some cool fantasies here to explore. Definitely really curious to hear community feedback on all of these, which are exciting, which are most resonant, which sound, frankly, maybe a bit lame. Are there any that you hoped you'd see on here that you're not seeing on here? We are, well underway building these out, but it's definitely early enough for us to pivot on a lot of these if there's something the community is really excited about. I want to triple super underscore, the example talents I just gave are work in progress, very subject to change.
All right.
Probably no part of the game is more prone to iteration, and for no part of the game is the community input more essential than class design, spec design. To that end, when we move into our alpha, probably in the spring, we
so
want to
excited.
have
I
as
hope I
many,
get
if
in.
not all of these hero specs playable from the start.
Yeah.
So that we have the
gonna be
entire
like
alpha and
Legion.
beta window to iterate on them, to replace the things that aren't working, to dial them all in to where everyone's going to be excited about what they're getting in War Within. It's a long road ahead. We can't wait to share that journey with you and really just collaborate, discuss.
Dude,
back
I
and forth
cannot wait to
every step of
test
the way.
this. I hope I get it soon. Like early on.
All right. Now some other stuff. Some you've heard about, some you haven't. First off, Allied Race, you get to be an Earthen.
Play the War Within campaign to
Awesome
unlock.
blinged out dwarves, or maybe not so
Easy.
blinged out if you want to customize them differently. These are going to be earned just by playing through the War Within campaign fully.
That's great.
There's no rep to grind here, nothing else beyond that. You are
And we get a quest, right?
meeting the Earthen as, it's a first contact in essence. You're going to learn about the nature of their problems, the nature of their culture. You're going to work with them to overcome those problems, win their trust. At the end of that journey, it will make sense. It will be a natural next step for them to lend you their aid and join you as either Horde or Alliance. So yes, Horde dwarves.
There you go. There you go. Boom.
We haven't yet finalized what the racial
Dwarves
abilities
on the
are to
right
be,
side.
but the available classes, 10 out of the 13 available classes. Everything but Druid, Demon Hunter, and Evoker.
All right.
Now on the right side,
Let's look here. No Demon Hunter, Druid, or Evoker. All the people saying Druid's up next, Druid's over there, Druid's in my hair, Druid... No. No. Shaman, then Paladin. Or reverse. Those are coming next. Shaman, Paladin. When we get in Paladins to all races, maybe at the end of this tier quest line. Hopefully they're fleshed out for some, and we get cool quests, like the Warlocks. Shaman can literally be at any moment when they finish the totems. Because the Primalist. Primalist effect, that fills out all the rest.
Here you see
and just give gnomes the goblin treatment.
The heritage armor you'll be able to earn from leveling your earthen to max level.
Oh, that heritage armor is nice.
Alright, dynamic flight.
There it is. There it is. Apparently 10.2.5.
So
I heard someone say that.
Obvious very early on in Dragonflight, probably before Dragonflight even released in beta, that we could never go back to how it used to be. Honestly, we hoped that would be the outcome. We hoped the feedback would be, this is so awesome, we just want this to be how flying works forever.
Yes.
But we immediately began, making plans for what that would mean.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, it's the only way to go. And so, dragon riding is going to become the default, no longer just dragons, but dynamic flight now in War Within and beyond. We want to make sure. Oh, weird. I meant to have 2 mounts here, but I only see Ashes on the right. But anyway.
Invisible.
The key point being, we want to expand this to the broader array of mounts that you have available. I think the only downside of dragon riding, as it exists today, is that you don't have much reason to use so many of the mounts that are your favorites, visually, aesthetically, that you've earned and done so much to collect. You want to make sure that as much of your collection is viable as possible. So not every single flying mount is going to be able to support dynamic flight. There's some animation logistics to work with there, but as many as we can. It's a 3-digit number. We want a very wide array of mounts being able to just fly the way you've always enjoyed with your dragons.
All right. I hope the book works. I want to see turbo fast boat.
This is the future of flying. So everywhere that you can fly today, you will be able to dynamically fly or dragon ride.
Everywhere that you can fly today.
Not just in the War Within. A little sneak peek. I think in our upcoming 10.2.5 update, you'll be able to dragon ride in Eastern Kingdoms, Kalimdor, Northrend, Outland, you name it.
There it is! And evokers are going to be able to soar dragon ride finally.
We also understand
it was reported.
There's some folks, for accessibility reasons, personal preference reasons, maybe you just like being able to AFK in midair, that dragon riding isn't your favorite. We don't want to take anything away. We want to let all these mounts that can currently do the old school flying mode toggle between dragon riding or let's call it TBC flying. Up to you, whatever you prefer.
TBC. The original.
And again, to be clear, dynamic flight will be available from the very start.
Yes.
Castlegar and the Isle of Dorn, just as
Castlegar.
Dragonflight.
The Isle of Dorn. Dorn Isle.
Old school TBC flying, Pathfinder style, will not be available right away, but it will be unlocked shortly after reaching max level with no reputation grind requirements. Just play through the campaign, explore the continents, then you can fly that way as well.
There you go. There you go, Pathfinder baby mode.
Lift system in the Dragon Isles. We want to pivot that to a bit more of something that's evergreen. Some of those unlocked traits may change to only work within the Dragon Isles.
Oh.
Others that are more essential to just the experience feeling good, like vigor increases, regenerates, the active abilities, are just going to be things that you will inherently get as you earn dynamic flight and level up naturally.
No more glyphs?
On the line, players to feel like they have to go back to an old expansion and fly around and collect a bunch of glyphs just to be able to explore the new expansion. And in that vein, this is going to be the new default for leveling players. I mentioned earlier, when War Within comes out, instead of BFA, Dragonflight will be the new leveling experience.
There we go, dude.
Into as a new player.
That'll be great, dude. Playing Dragonflight.
And so you're going to get dragon riding very early in that experience. As you just level up, gain player levels, you will improve your flight ability and get all the vigor perks and everything else that everyone has come to expect. And that's just going to be how the game works as a baseline. This is what flight is now.
Amazing. Imagine being a new WoW player and getting Dragonflight first. I'd be like, oh my god.
This is long overdue. We should have been doing this.
New battleground!
So there's a new battleground coming in War Within.
It's not dead!
Set in the Ringing Deeps. This is Inspired by Silver Shard Mines with a few twists, the Ring Deeps are a place that's full of natural resources that's very sort of thing that the Horn Alliance will be likely to skirmish over. I'm going to show you a very rough, early, kind of like top-down mock-up of the layout here. The idea is, unlike Silver Shard Mines, which is radial symmetry, this is more, mirrored and reflects the two sides trying to both push their own minecarts to collect resources while also fighting over a pivotal central control point that's going to change the outcome and the momentum of the match. This is something that the team is actually playtesting internally a bunch over the last couple of weeks, having a blast with. When we make Battleground maps, we don't really artify them. We keep them really rough, which is why I don't have any good images to show just yet, because it really is all about the layout. There's no point making it look pretty if the spacing isn't correct, if the exact paths aren't correct. That's going to be the next step. Can't wait to get this in front of everybody to start testing in alpha and beyond.
All right, that's cool.
This isn't just a one-off. We want to keep adding new Battleground maps going forward.
I wonder if they're just going to keep just making little twists. Because people just like skins for them.
10v10, but we are just about to undertake a little 8v8 solo queue RBG experiment in 10.2 in a week or two. So depending on how that goes, you may be experiencing this one 8v8 as well. So stay tuned.
Boom. Solo RBGs. Let's go.
Otherwise, we have a few ongoing interface updates that we're continuing to work on. In Dragonflight, we
that content's going to be
the HUD,
full
the action bars,
of players,
frames, the baseline UI experience. We made it clear at the time that that was just the beginning. This is something we want to continue chipping away at, updating different pieces of the UI to be more streamlined, better reflective of the modern gameplay experience. So just a couple of examples here. So the spellbook, we are looking to modernize, update, actually make use of more than like a 1024 by 768 monitor resolution.
I'm gonna be real.
Ideally, you're not gonna have to flip through multiple pages to find some ability that's not on your
I missed the old one.
Also, we're combining this with our talent screen. If you look
that
at
I
the
currently
tabs
have.
at the bottom, you have spec, talents, and spells.
This looks better.
All in one place, so it's kind of a one-stop shop for all the things that your character has available, rather than having two.
This is literally better, but I'm just saying I missed the old one. I might miss it.
Some light updates here. I think improving the overall aesthetic of the quest log, the quest window. Think if this is harder to show off just in a single screenshot, but we are adding a bunch of filters to allow you to hide and show different objectives, to see more quests available at once, to filter your log for the things you care about most. We also have a full pass in progress on our quest iconography.
That's the chapter we couldn't
test.
test.
Between daily and weekly quests, and remove our reliance on just shades of color as much as we do, which really it is a color blindness issue for the range of quest bangs, where the only difference is what color it is. And again, this is just a couple of examples of ongoing efforts. This is a project that will never be done. We're just going to continue improving and updating different aspects of the UI as we go.
Alright. Cross-realm guilds.
Yes. So this one basically speaks for itself. I mentioned earlier, your warband is a cross-realm construct. Increasingly, so many of the activities that players engage in socially span multiple realms.
Cool.
You have a raid group, you have a Mythic Plus group that you run with, a group that you PvP with, but you can't be in the same guild together. Not any longer. That's a thing that will change when more.
That's wild.
Out. Apply, recruit. Server shouldn't matter when it comes to joining a guild, when it comes to being in a guild, when it comes to accessing the perks of being in a guild.
You can have characters on dead servers for mount farming and raid on them on your main server.
And people may be wondering, wait a minute, what does that mean if now guilds are cross-realm? What about Mythic raiding? If your guild is cross-realm and your guild wants to raid Mythic, you should be able to do that day one. So no more realm restrictions there.
Now they just need to fix the lockout.
The Hall of Fame will
I know
still
people
exist.
have a problem with the lockout, how the
memorial
lockouts work.
Of accomplishment, but it's not going to be tied to unlocking anything anymore. That's just there day one. And really, just philosophically, this is another step towards one of our goals of just tearing down barriers, making the game as social as possible, making it as easy as possible to play with who you want to play with, regardless of your server, regardless of your faction, as much as possible.
We just need cross-faction queues. It's it.
Alright, so that brings us to the end of this whirlwind tour / deep dive of War Within features.
Oh my
I
god.
know there's still a bunch of questions, a bunch more information to share. Can't wait to do that in the coming days and weeks. But to begin,
Q&As.
I'd like to invite everybody, if you have questions, if you're here at BlizzCon, go to the Darkmoon Fair in Hall D. You can drop off questions there.
Alright.
If you're if you're going online, you can go to the WoW information out there as possible. So
Q&As. Good job, Ian. I'm a fan. This looks great. I'm excited. And that's it.
thank you so much for joining us. We are so excited to begin this journey together with you. Can't wait for the War Within. Enjoy the rest of BlizzCon. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. I love you all.
Yes! I love this game. I'm so excited. This looks great. And I can't wait to be playing War Within. I can't wait for 10.2.5. That should be hitting the test room soon. I'll be all over that. And as soon as I get alpha, everyone's gonna know. Because I'm gonna be testing everything. Everything. Anyways, thank you for watching this react. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.